All right. Hey, everyone. Good evening on the Eastern U.S. time zone to everyone. I am Jared Napolitano, aka JNAP, the marketing advocate for the PC, and proud participant of the 2023 Retro League, and also one of the commentators for games in this league. So we're going to be live streaming the top table, so between DRTORCH, Paul Feldman, and DarkDeal44, Kevin Bing. This is Premiere to Death Star 2 constructed format, so basically the meta in like the middle of 2000. These two players are very good in this format. I think they've probably played, thousands of times. They kind of made a joke about how this is going to be like the millionth time they're playing. They play very often. They do casual tables. They do league games. They, just do private tables. They play test. They really enjoy playing this format. And DRTORCH plays a little bit of other formats like Open and Java. DarkDeal is exclusively retro formats up to Premiere Reflections too. So both very good players. In my experiences, I know DarkDeal likes to play Prophet a lot, and also I think he's a Brigham for Dark, and DRTORCH is a lot of Hunt Down, Brigham, Hidden Base X-Wings. So I'll be curious what to see here. Both players are 5-0. The winner will get at least a spot in the tiebreaker game. The second table is Brad Kipple, who's 5-0. He's going to be playing as Lightside versus Will Tarbox, who's 4-1. They're scheduled to play 3 p.m. Eastern on Friday. That may or may not be live streamed. Garrett might be able to cover it, or maybe somebody else. But we might do that via a replay. Speaking of replay, maybe we'll do this at the end, but I do have the replay from the loser's perspective. Clayton, who played DRTORCH in Game 5. So I think in the interest of transparency, if there is a tiebreaker game, it would be between Brad Kipple and either Kevin or Paul, and it would probably be good to have all those games, available to everybody, so that the information's equal. No one should know every single card in the other person's deck, and of course, people can change their cards or decks in this league, so they could tweak it a little bit if they feel like they don't want to get scouted or anticipated for. So there's some flexibility there to mitigate. There's lots of pluses of streaming these games, and thank you for watching this, whether you're doing it live or on replay. Some of the drawbacks are for the players is some of your secrets might get out, and you might be teched against, so to speak, for future games. So we try to offset that. So I think I set the stage pretty good. We see DRTORCH is playing Brigham, and DarkDeal is playing Prophet. So I don't think not a huge surprise for either. The Kevin's on the East Coast, and I'm pretty sure Paul's on the West Coast. So, pretty good time, I guess, that works for both players. I want to get the game in early enough for a little bit of friendly banter already. Paul is going to start with Mara Jade and EPP Boba Fett with Blaster Rifle. So for his 2 free aliens with Prophet, I've been playing this event. I've been playing like a Hunt Down and like just a mains that has not been doing well. I think I've lost my last 2 games against Brigham that I've played. I'm 2-3 in the event. Going into Game 6, I'm playing against Blackbeard Ben, who I think is Ben Kenobi, is his handle on Gemp. And yeah, so probably pretty standard starts. We got the mobilization points, suppressive enforcement, pre-arrest order. Very possible DRTORCH in this Brigham deck is playing like 7 senses and 3 or 4 altars. You get easy access to the Emperor. You get your free grabbers with oppressive enforcement. And Kevin is playing Insurrection, Wise Advice, and your Insight serves you well. So you might be able to fetch Honor the Jedi if he wants. There is no escape yet. That is the next event in Event 4, which is going to be Premiere through Jabba's Palace Seal deck, which I guess is maybe like 6 months after this happened, like November, December of 2000. That's Event 4 out of 5 for the Retro League. Anyone could sign up. I think sign-ups are going to be open for another 2 weeks, so if you're interested in that, let's do a quick plug here. You go to forum.starwarsccg.org, and then you could search the board index and just go down here to league championship, or not, it's an alternate format retro events, retro Gemp League, and you'll see like event 4 is down here, and then everything you need to know is in this sticky post up here. So, everyone's welcome. It's $10 to join the league, whether you play in one event or 5, same amount. There's lots of prizes. There's digital, there's physical, there's there's a lot of prizes where basically if you're a good, earnest participant, you get into the draw for some really cool random prizes. But it's also a really good experience. Players are trying hard, and you get better if you're a newer returning player. All right, so pretty standard. I usually babble a lot in the early parts of these games because the first turn or two are pretty straightforward. So Walk Kill Mui, this is pull, I guess, with mobilization points. Puts the docking bay, execute your docking bay out with arrest order, right? Or is that one from hand? Yep, that was from reserve deck. Community Big Cowards deployed. Mara J gets her lightsaber for 1 force from reserve deck. I'm gonna guess Emperor comes out here. He should be -2 unless Paul might find it more valuable to use that force on other stuff on this first turn. We got CMAC, and I think E-Scrappers will. So welcome everybody. Thanks for participating. I'll try to do a couple giveaways. Might be digital, might be physical slips or cards or swag. We'll see. Piet goes to the docking bay for -2 because it's the executor. And DRTORCH draws 1 card, saves 1. So we'll see here. So, of course, Lightside can deploy Luke from reserve deck here for -2. We got a Tunnel Vision first turn. Might have a sense for it, but not the worst thing in the world since DarkDeal has Wise Advice out. Hopefully everyone can see everything okay, hear me okay, let me know if not. Like I said, like I said earlier, I'm going to try to stream Game 5 of DRTORCH's after this. I have the replay all loaded up, so we can do that. Maybe I'll split up the stream into 2 different distinct streams for the YouTube channel. Subscribe to that, youtube.com/the @Star Wars CCG. That's the official Players Committee YouTube channel. Thanks to everyone who follows that. And also on Twitch, you can follow and subscribe. Following's pretty easy. You get notified when I go live, for example. If you're have your own account on Twitch, we have Master Luke for free because of profit, and then a barrier from DRTORCH. This has probably happened many times in these matchups, so they know each other's decks probably inside and out. We have a Desperate Reach, which is a card you don't see very often, except when it's comboed on the with the Reflections 2 card, Bith Shuffle and Desperate Reach. So basically, the only function of this really that's ever used is to cancel barrier. I don't think we're doing Weather Vanes in this. We got Weapon Lev from... Ooh! Alright, spicy. DarkDeal plays Weapon Lev, steals Mara Saber, tries to bounce Boba Fett. That's going to miss. So the key thing at this matchup is, I guess what Kevin's approach is, he wants to try to be aggressive and not let DRTORCH, bunker up at the audience chamber or really start pushing through damage and building his hand up and whatnot. So he's maybe taking a bit of a calculated risk here. Because this could end poorly. DRTORCH have to draw 5, he draws a 4, so that's going to miss. Which is good for Kevin, who he's immune less than 4. He might choose to peel. He draws a 6 for Battle Destiny, so that's going to knock out Mara. Because Boba Fett is only 4/5. So that's pretty good for Kevin. And then, DRTORCH draws a 3, so Master Luke's going to be immune. So that was I don't know to what extent Kevin would categorize that as a calculated risk or a calculated gamble, but he knows the Destiny in his deck, he knows the odds. Probably, like I said, they played this matchup a lot, so I don't think there really shouldn't be a lot of surprises here. But Paul's going to have to lose either both or just Mara. He's got a 7-card hand. Presumably he probably has interesting. All right, so he was immune. That was a yellow 3 there. So Kevin is not going to risk any type of counter beat. So there's a couple interesting things here. So one, he might think, with profit, very possible you get 3 cards retrieved. He's going to have to satisfy Coward to make sure he does get that through. And then there goes Mara. So I'm expecting Fett will probably get some reinforcement here on his turn. But But yeah, I guess Kevin, maybe he doesn't have a Hujix, didn't have a barrier, didn't have any type of evasion, like a dodge, for example. We just saw that. So he didn't want Luke to just be stuck there. Um, One thing I got sidetracked on, I was going to say there was a good podcast that Kendall Holman just put out on his, I think it's his Bad Deck Breakdowns. Or maybe it's the Corn on the Horn feed. And he talked with Matthew Harrison, trainer, who's an extremely accomplished player in the game. But yeah, one part of that podcast, which is really interesting from a strategy, and MHT is a member of design, has been in the past, won several majors, but he was talking about kind of like the time value of force so early on in the game. And like, for example, there, when DRTORCH put Piet out, activated the mobilization points, drew a card. Maybe he activated his Emperor, who knows? But it's just interesting that with every turn that goes by, the force in your hand, the force in your force pile, gradually gets, less, less valuable in a way, because your activation is going to, kick up and whatnot. All right, so here comes the tunnel vision. But yes, I would suggest subscribe. Yeah, I think it's subscribing on iTunes or Spotify or whatever. I just listened to it earlier this evening as we see a sense on the tunnel vision. It's on his Bad Deck Breakdowns feed. That's what it was. Bad Deck Breakdowns. So I would search that. Kendall does a great job interviewing players, designers, all types of different players. So they're always good interviews. All right, so the sense is successful. He draws a Zuckuss and Misthunter. DRTORCH reinforcing with Marajik kind of screams to me like he's either trying to bait. Well, he doesn't have anything saved. He doesn't have like a barrier or anything. But that seems a little bit of like a bait for might be bait from DRTORCH's perspective. But yeah, of course, that is a key thing that I did not mention before. That, oh boy, Bringham allows Luke to be deployed from Lost Pile. Not -2, but in this case it doesn't matter because Master Luke is free to Jabba's Pile sites because of the front sign of Prophet. So Ben Kenobi joins the party, and Luke is going to miss the bounce with Boba Fett again, drawing a 3. Needed one more 2 times now. So he's going to add a Destiny. So what DRTORCH is hoping for, I guess, is to draw, an 8. An 8 would mean that Ben Kenobi has to die between his 2 Battle Destinies. Or if he draws a 10, they're both going to the Lost Pile. But of course, Master Luke can keep recurring until, or if and when, which I'm sure probably will happen, Vader seizes him. Alright, Boba Fett's going to miss. We see a TIE Interceptor drawn. I wonder if DRTORCH has the Signer Fleet Systems engine in here to retrieve force. Probably not the only TIE Interceptor in the deck. DarkDeal draws a 4 for Battle Destiny, so that's going to eliminate one of the 2 characters. And we'll see here, some big Destinies here. So we draw 4, so Kevin is hoping for a 3 or less, because then he could just revive Master Luke. He draws a 2, so that's going to be fortunate for DarkDeal. He's just going to lose Luke and revive him. And he's not going to have either Ben Kenobi or Master Luke kind of hanging out to dry on DRTORCH's turn. He doesn't have the biggest hand. He's activating 13. He's got 7 cards. So we'll see what he can cook up if he wants to keep putting the pressure on and keep trying to put these mains in the Lost Pile. But if he throws Vader down, immediately Luke is seized, and then he can potentially try to beat up on Ben Kenobi there. So Luke goes Lost Pile, and then Ben revives him. So hopefully many of you out there watching this live or on replay are subscribers to the PC Twitch channel. If not, I would suggest going to, you can do it a couple ways. You could either just do a normal subscription, which you're probably familiar with if you're on Twitch, or you can use your Amazon Prime 1 free subscription. There's some cool swag that we give out, like foils and poker chips and alternate image. They're all virtual cards, but they're pretty cool. So I would just go to StarWarsCCG.org and then search for Twitch subscription in the news search bar, and then it'll pop up the article about this year and all the details on that. Or you go on the forum, there are a couple different ways. But we try to give a little thank you to everyone who does support the PC by subscribing. All right, so the Emperor's Sword comes out. That's going to get a retrieval of 3. And Dr. Torch is going to retrieve Marajik, Forlam with Concussion Rifle, and Mara Jade. He's now only got 2 cards in his lost pile. And Dr. Torch is going to move Boba Fett away, so maybe he's having a hard time finding characters or tricks in general. But this is interesting. So DarkDeal's going to punt the Insight. He's going to get an effect either from Death Star 2 or Endor. He's getting, let's keep a little optimism. DarkDeal likes this card. I've seen him play. I've used this card a little bit off of seeing it, honestly, from DarkDeal in all the Jedi format. Because the Operatives part, just thinking of flashbacks to the Premier to Special Edition annual online event where there were Operatives in full force. I shouldn't say full force. Somewhat mitigated force from their original release. But you can, at any time you may place effect out of play to retrieve 1 force. So if there's some card on top of your lost pile that you really want, you're basically trading this card for it. It's also kind of cool, like late game, if you want to retrieve like a High Destiny card, and then you could track it around probably pretty easily. But yeah, I'm wondering, maybe Kevin has some other, and I'm sure, hopefully he watches, and maybe he could provide some comments in the YouTube video if he has any insights as to what else he kind of looks to use that card for. All right, so he's going to move Ben Kenobi out, which means he satisfies Khmer the Coward because he's on 2 battlegrounds, and which enables him to get the retrieval from Prophet, and since he controls the site, he's going to retrieve 5 force since Han has power greater than 4 or greater than 3, because you retrieve 10 if he's power less than 4. And then he's going to move Han out to join Ben Kenobi, and maybe he's going to move Luke out too. Let's see what he does. Still his move phase. He's still got plenty of force, 6 force to work with. He just draws. Okay. All right, so we'll see what Dr. Torch comes up with. He has a decent amount of force to activate. 11 cards in hand. Probably has to have a couple characters, right? So you think he's looking for maybe like, he might have like a Dr. Vazan, Vader and a lightsaber, that type of thing. I guess that's pretty good that, Monarch lost. Okay. All right, so, and I've got a sense on the Monarch. Let's see. Dr. Torch has to have a sense or an altar. Yeah, he does. He has an altar. And both players have the send your canceled card to used effect out in Wise Advice and Press Enforcement. So we see the hand, 2 disarms, Obi-Wan's Apparition, Someone Who Loves You, Tunnel Vision, Chewit Blaster Rifle, Fallen Portal, that's a little spicy. Swing and a Miss is a cool card too. Kind of a defensive. If opponent just use a lightsaber, draw 1 destiny, and subtract that amount. So it seems like Kevin has stuffed some pretty high destinies in this deck, which in this format is not very easy to do. I'm sure his Luke's and Obi-Wan's are low. I'm sure Leia's and Chewie's, but maybe besides that he's tried to do what he can. I guess we saw the Run Luke Run. We saw a couple 4s, which were fortunate. Draw free destiny, but 2 disarms. It's interesting. So he would have disarmed Fett, I'm guessing. But now, Fett adds a battle destiny with Han, and then of course we have Emperor's Power. So you could even Fett alone could theoretically just shoot Han, draw 3, he's forfeit 0, and then he's drawn 2 battle destiny between Boba Fett's game text and Emperor's Power. And he would then just need to draw 5 between the 2 destiny to crack Ben Kenobi's immunity to attrition. And that would be a pretty good battle just in itself, with Fett being pretty resilient. And then if he gets rid of Ben Kenobi, of course he can't then revive after the battle. But yeah, Monarch, there's so much Monarch and Grimtoss, which our good friend Matt Wadden, 2 most hated cards. But a lot of that in these retro formats. And you'll see some of these formats that are playing like 4 Monarchs, 4 Grimtoshes, and it's kind of pricey. You're burning a card and paying for force, but when you're getting that information, you could really prevent yourself from walking into a trap or really plan out your turn and even your next turn. Of course, in open format now, there's lots of different ways to get cards into your hand in the middle of a turn or during the opponent's turn, but in this format, that does not happen quite as often, where your opponent's like replenishing their hand, before their draw phase. So that is where, seeing your opponent's hand and making some decisions off that information is valuable. So, all right, so now he's a Janus, and now we can get 3 battle destiny here if he so pleases. And we got a first strike, so he's going to get the retrieval in. Yeah, right. He knows that there's a fallen portal there. Maybe DRTORCH has another sense for the fallen portal. Do we see any other tricks? Looks like he lost the Someone Who Loves You from hand, right? We saw 2 disarms. Swing and a miss isn't going to come into play. Dodge might to help Han from getting hurt. Obi-Wan's operation is interesting. Opponent getting 3. So that's it's a Destiny 6. Something if you're getting 4 struck. Alright, so yeah, he's got the sense. And he's probably betting that DarkDeal doesn't have any more senses or alters based on how the last Sense Ultra War unfolded. And the Fallen Portal is canceled. So this is going to wipe out Han and Ben pretty easily. I'm going to bet here. So like maybe he plays a dodge here. It depends to what extent does Kevin think he's really up against the wall here and really has to try to keep Han alive, hope that he doesn't draw, 10 in total battle destiny, which would crack both players, or both characters. Because Ben, of course, is 4'9". Alright, he draws the 4, he hits Han. Alright, so Han is going to die. So now we're going to see what Kevin's backup plan is, because there are no non-Tatooine battleground sites on the table. And I'm going to bet that DRTORCH either doesn't have them or isn't going to give them to him. I just realized that the logo is covering up Mr. Palpatine over here. So let's move that up. Alright, so there's let me relock the chat. There's the Emperor's Power. He loses Alter off the top. So 3 battle destiny here. And he now just needs to draw 1/1 on the 2nd and 3rd, which would crack Ben Kenobi's immunity. Yeah, so this is going to clear the site for everybody, right? So everyone's going to die. Master Luke's just going to be at the audience chamber, but unable to force strain because Han is not on Tatooine and not a captive, which is how you flip profit, of course. He draws a 4, and there's going to be a stack here for Insignificant Rebellion. So, this is one of the annoying things of bringing before me is like I feel like this deck in this format has 6, 7 senses, and Lightside also wants to play Sense Alter for various reasons, but Mind What You Have Learned might be helpful because you're adding 4, but then Mind What You Have Learned has some drawbacks as well. Profit's, really nice when it works and you keep Han on the table, but now he's got to find another Han. He could not. Oh, he can't because of Coward. I was going to say he could punt. Let's keep a little optimism to retrieve Han. I mean, he definitely has a second Han. Just a matter of if he has it in his hand, but he's only got 4 cards in his hand. Of course, first strike is out, so this might get a little rough for DarkDeal because DRTORCH probably has a character or 2 in his hand. Come down battle, beat up on Luke. Even though Luke isn't threatening any damage, but you get a first strike swing, you're probably going to get an Insignificant Rebellion stack. But DRTORCH is at 35 cards, hand in life. I'm getting my turns mixed up. It's late at night here. Sorry. And not that late, but yeah, so it is Lightside's turn, so apologies for that. Okay, so yeah, so now we can get Han back. Okay, alright, so that works. ECC Chewie. I like this card. Image. But yeah, he's only 4'5". EPP does not add any. So yeah, I was babbling there, kind of thinking it was Darkside's turn. But yeah, so DRTORCH is at 34 hand in life, and given that retrieval, DarkDeal is at 1443. So he's up in hand in life. There's no battle order, battle plan out. DRTORCH played Imperial Command and whiffed and gave a verify up. So here comes Space War Docking Bay. So that's a good idea for DarkDeal, and I'm sure this is something he's crafted and refined over time. It gives you kind of an escape hatch because there's some other location you can go to possibly and force drain. With Coward out, he can't get any damage through at the non-battlegrounds. He's gonna send Chewie over there. So Chewy might be able to force drain for 1 there. But I wonder, maybe Dark Deal is another Fallen Portal. Maybe it's got a barrier. Either way, Dr. Torch has 9 cards in his hand. And those senses, of course, are used interrupt. So they're just floating around. So I'd be a little hesitant to completely rely on interrupt here. But this is, just a reminder, this is strength of schedule format. So there's no differential here. It doesn't. Whoever wins, wins. And at the end of the 6 games, which is this is the final game and the final week of the 6-game event, whoever has the highest, any tiebreaker on record, is adjudicated by strength of schedule, how strong your opponent's finished in the matchup or in the course of the event. So, it doesn't matter in these games if you win by 30 or you win by 5 or you win by 2. Like, all that matters is that you win. So, and that's really nice in that not every game has to be played out all the way to the end. And as it used to be back in the day. So that's an interesting consideration that, deck building on Gem nowadays, where in events like this, where you have strength of schedule as your format, it might have some deck construction differences if you're not trying to maximize your diff, you're not going for as many blowouts. All right, so there's Vader. There's a barrier that we predicted. Probably a sense. Yep. Yeah, a grabber would have been really helpful. Although, that's probably what, the 4th sense? It's at least the 3rd. Alright, so that's going to sense the barrier. And this isn't looking good for Chewy now. So now Chewy's definitely going to get hit. And Dark's going to be getting 2 Battle Destinies. This is definitely going to be overflow. It's just a matter of how much. Is it going to be 2 or is it going to be 10? Or somewhere in between. Yes, that is Kashyyyk, where the Emperor's Shield is. Scrapper. Alright, so Chewy's definitely hit. Those rebels will escape us. Good card to cancel Neighborn as a used interrupt. Of course, it was comboed with Gick in Reflections 2. Also, Campbell's Hyper Escape or React or Landing Claw. Landing Claw is probably not going to come into play with this deck. It seems like DRTORCH probably is just running a bunch of ties, including the Squadrons, which are a neat little interaction to get some cards back. Chewy's going to miss that. I'm 95% sure that he's just floating Kashyyyk. Maybe he plays 2. Maybe he's got a couple Janus Egregious to try to cycle and find cards. He's got Reactor Terminal, cycle cards back into his reserve. I feel like that's in every single DRTORCH deck. But yeah, it's not like there's no like Nemoidian Advisor, which came out several sets later, that helps you deploy to Battleground. So yeah, so he must have. Oh, he had Marajik. That's how he got it out. Yeah, so I think he had Piet, who he pulls with like a command. Piet pulls a Commander Marajik. Although, didn't Marajik... I think he must open the Kashyyyk, because Marajik ended up at the audience chamber. And here's the peeling. So he's peeling 9 here. So I said between 2 and 10. So that worked out really well for DRTORCH. He, what did he drew? Yeah, 5 and 4. Yeah, so this is 2 Leias, a Run Luke Run, Tunnel Vision, the Grabber, that would have been helpful, Honor, Yoda's Gimmer Stick, Transition Terminated, and Barrier, or use 2 forces to play one of your characters' ability greater than 3, immune to attrition, while present. Yeah, interesting. Destiny 3 card. Right, now Vader moves to Tatooine, presumably with his eyes set on capturing Master Luke. We'll do a giveaway. Maybe we'll do. I know. Hopefully, a lot of you folks like the. We'll do. Gem. If you're new to Gem, you might not realize that there's like this My Cards aspect where you can kind of collect. You can collect. You get packs and cards and gold for doing various things, but we can give away stuff. We give away digital prizes, and sometimes it's just fun just to open up the digital boxes, see what you get. Sometimes you can, if you get a certain number, if you get 4 of a certain card, you can trade it for a foil. I don't think either of these players are playing foils. Those are kind of cool. Um, and then we also have alternate image booster packs, which are pretty cool on Gem. They're obviously they're not gonna have much appeal to any open or to any solely retro player, since they're virtual cards that you could put into your open deck. But maybe we'll do one of each. I just need to come up with some trivia questions. Could trade what? You can't trade on Gem. You can collect. You can get stuff. All the different, and there's like a tab on Gem where it shows like how much of your collection you can try to complete it if you want. I know some people. I think IdeaTrack has mentioned that he's done that. As Tall as Ka comes out, he moves Luke over, so he's gonna start pinging at the end of the turn. You could trade 4 of one card into the merchant and get a foil version of it. You're not trading with other people. Sorry if that wasn't clear there. I think it's 4 cards, and Goglin Tiberius did a video, which is linked to in the guide, on how exactly to do that. I think it's another 15 gold. It's 4 of the same card. I should know. I've done it plenty. I think it's 15. Or they changed the GEMP economy several months ago too. Yeah, if you have 4 of a certain card and you're in the merchant, there's going to be a little button that appears that says trade 4 for foil. Trade 4 and some number of gold coins. So we'll give away like maybe we'll do a Death Star 2 box on GEMP. Those would be pretty fun to open in real life. and we'll do like a GEMP series. Let's do a series 4 pack. Series 5 as a PSA is right around the corner. I think it's going to be ready pretty soon. Most of the dependencies are done. So that's going to be a lot of cards that, like I think Imperial Decree V, which is an awesome image, is in that batch. I know, like there's a Betrayer, Vader, AI, basically a lot of the stuff that was like last year. So we're getting pretty close to being caught up. I mean, there'll always be a little bit of a lag. I think the plan was that we do digital versions, and then you can print out the PDFs, non-foils, after 2 years of exclusivity. And then I think at some point, I don't know if it all goes into the coding. I'd have to ask EBT. No promises on this, but I wonder if at some point we can take the alternate images on GEMP off of like an exclusivity thing where you can only get them through the packs. Instead, you can maybe buy them from the merchant, or yeah, I think that's what you'd have to do. But I think there's some implications there. Maybe what has to happen. But yeah, like some of the older ones, some people, I think someone reached out to me recently that they really wanted a certain thing, and they have lots of ones they don't want. All right, so we have Always Thinking with the Stomach against Tozka. Vader moved over to the Jabba's Palace. Sorry, I was talking about a couple different things. All right, so we have Sense. This is definitely going to get Sensor Altered. Yep. 14 card hand for DRTORCH. He definitely has a Sensor Alter in there. Always Thinking with your Stomach. So DRTORCH lost the SFS laser cannons. And he also cycled a masterful move at the end of his turn. Sorry about that. All right, so the draw misses. So Dark Deal's in luck in that Tozka is not going missing because he needed to draw more. You need to draw higher destiny than the number of characters there. So you need to draw 2 or higher. And he only drew a 1. Some people say it's like that and Lost of Wilderness or like Destiny 4 Control to cancel a 4 strain, and sometimes it could be a lot more powerful to make your opponents, especially if it's early game or late game, one or the other, on a key character, make them go missing. If they have like 3 characters on an exterior site and you draw and you hit the 4, they can immediately start a search party that turn, and it might just not honestly be worth the card slot. It might be getting too cute, so to speak. But sometimes it can be, it's swinging, I guess is the phrase. So we have another tunnel vision that's going to get sense. So this is like the 5th, what are we up to, 6 senses here? This is brutal for Dark Deal, and that pretty much all his interrupts are getting canned. I think in terms of life force, these players are not too far off. 23 to, looks like 31. Yeah, so DRTORCH just pulled ahead. That overflow of 9 was pretty big. Kind of ate away at all the, Dark Deal didn't have the best board position, but he did have decent Life Force. All right, so we have the altar on Signer Fleet Systems. That's going to get sensed. He doesn't have to draw for it. Sense just Cantor's altar. Comes back with another sense. Here we go. All these things keep going to use pile, of course, because they're so oppressive. And and then he misses the sense to the sense. You need to draw less than 4 because Taw's is ability 3. So that's a bummer. DarkDeal's probably like, if I was him, I'd be saying this just isn't my game. Not a lot's going right. I think this matchup favors Brigham. Brigham's really strong in this format, and like I said, gives me an opportunity to plug. Andy Talaga does a lot of really, him and Board Matt, I think that's their YouTube channel handles respectively. I think it's just Andy Talaga, Phonetic, and then Board Matt, and they do lots of retro deck tech videos and discussions and streams, and Andy does tournament reports, and he's doing actually a virtual card series now, so check him out. Andy Talaga, I think you should just be able to search on YouTube and it should appear. So we have a Monarch Lost that does not hit any duplicates, it looks like, but he does see the Lost in the Wilderness, so now DRTORCH might be careful not to drain with Vader so he doesn't go missing. And that begs a rule question for me. If he goes missing while escorting a captive, does the captive get freed? You would think, logically, if they both go missing, maybe that's overanalyzing it. That'd be interesting. Maybe I should ask Gurgle that, or maybe someone in the chat knows the answer there, especially people who are familiar with this Lost in the Wilderness and always thinking with their stomach, that are played much more often in this format. So what else was I just mentioning? Oh, and Andy and Board Matt have great videos, so check them out. I'm sure Andy probably has some analysis about how strong Brigham Before Me is. And the Premier Death Star 2, I think it's still strong. The subsequent set with Premier to Jabba's Palace Seal deck. Alright, so he's going to get 3 force back by deploying the shield with... Oh, excuse me. So, yeah, so he's just getting this engine going, and then if Lightside did actually try to attack these, I think the put to use, does that work? Located Tie just lost. I don't think it works with a squadron. Again, someone more familiar with the interaction might be able to. The text also once per turn you may relocate a tie just lost from table into use pile. I don't know if that works if you're losing. I think it does. Isn't that like the Fat Lenny, his flagship operations, asteroids, ties, and that told deck that he does, where you kind of you draw a destiny for yourself that's an asteroid, and you're kind of killing off your own ties, but they go to use pile, and then you can just deploy them back out, or so it's kind of like a loop, or at least the individual ties definitely can be relocated, and then you just get them back. All right, so he's going to lose a force as an objective. We have 22 to 30 now, hand in life for both players. DRTORCH camped out in the audience chamber with Fett and Vader, both EPPs, threatening 4 damage, and he's taking 2, I guess, between his own objective per cycle and this force drain here. Never mind. That's getting canceled by TIE Interceptor. I'd be curious how many ties he has in here. How many interceptors? Does he got 4? Does he have 7? Once his ground pack, his character package can't be too big to kind of fit all this stuff in here. Doesn't work with squadrons. Return to base does. Okay. Thank you, N-Rabbit. So yeah, I'll just plug Worlds. So Worlds, there's going to be Premier Death Star 2, a retro in-person event. Andy's going to be the TD for it on Friday afternoon of Worlds. That's August, what is that, the 11th, in Morristown, New Jersey. So StarWarsCCG.org, our homepage, has the Worlds article on it. You can go to forum.starwarsccg.org. It's a whole separate forum for everything on Worlds if you're not familiar. But yeah, it's back in the Northeast this year. There was Worlds in Morristown in 2018. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a retro and a cube event on Friday afternoon. Then there's going to be the team event Friday evening, main event Saturday, and then the consolation / Sunday Swiss, we'll call it, for anyone who's not in the top 8 of the main. That'll be on Sunday. So all the information about timing, prizes, how to register, all that stuff's on the forums. So, we're starting to do more of these in-person retro events with these major weekends, which are pretty cool. I know Garrett Larson, who might be our commentator for the Friday game, he won the Nationals Friday retro event a couple months ago up in Minneapolis. All right, so Han comes out. Obi's got a saber. All right, so DarkDeal's not stepping down. So he's threatening. You know, it was this 4-4 damage, but retrieval favors DRTORCH. But we'll see here. Might have some tricks up his sleeve. So yeah, so World's just around the corner. It's like a month from today, I think, is actually the main event. I think we're up to 28 participants. I just saw. So hopefully we get up towards. I'm hoping for at least 60 in the main. That would be cool. But commentary for the main, I think Dan and Garrett are going to be the main people doing it. As we see Tunnel Vision and Sense, Lost in the Wilderness from hand. Now that DRTORCH is inside, he doesn't have to worry about Lost in the Wilderness to his Force Drain. Desperate Reach. I think there was one other person who mentioned it. And big shout out to Matt Sokol, Hall of Famer, for doing a lot of the legwork and planning this, and of course Chris Schoendahl. And I think Casey always helps out a lot with planning these events. Our legal counsel, scheduling the Worlds, because initially it was supposed to be in Europe this year, but long story, that got bumped to next year. So that'll be Euro Worlds number 4 or 3. So 2012, 2019, and then it'll be 2024. All right, projected telepathy goes from hand. So that'll be really cool for another Euro Worlds next year. I'm trying to find out who else might have volunteered. Maybe Brad Reinhold might be helping as well. I think Kim Caton is going to be the tournament director, or at least a helper, either her or Show. Maybe Show's going to play. No, I think Show and Dan are going to be graciously, exclusively volunteering, which is awesome. But if they want to play, we'll see. Yeah, we can mix it up. If Dan really wants to play, I always think people should do what they want to do, and we can kind of make things work. And as this projected telepathy prevents the Force Drain at the docking bay, because yes, the commentary is kind of neat. Oh, there's always Think of Your Stomach. No, was that second one? Oh, he probably retrieved it. I don't know if he's cycling stuff around. Janice isn't on the table. All right, someone's going missing. I think this was going to give you the opportunity to ask again. Who chooses? Oh, I think it must be Darkside chooses. Yeah. Right? I don't think there's any way Lightside would choose Ben to go. Maybe. But then you're opening up Han to get beat down. Especially because Lightside doesn't have any force in his reserve deck to draw a Search Party Destiny. All right, order to engage, staple of these formats. See what happens here. We got Lando to the audience chamber. But I was saying, sometimes we have people who are commentators who aren't 100% on top of the current meta, but they still are valuable and helpful, and their insights are appreciated, and perspectives and questions that they ask. And there's usually it works out well. Sometimes it's almost better to have people, either newer returning players or people that aren't completely on top of it, so they're asking questions and engaging with the chat, and hopefully we have at least one person who's pretty current, which is usually the case, to just have a good solid stream of all the many games throughout the course of the weekend, especially the main event. All right, so Ben Kenobi's going to move in to support Lando. We're going to see what happens there. Torch does not activate his maximum, just 5. Gets a drain of 2 in. And we got an It Could Be Worse. Does that get through? 9 cards. Yep, he's got a sense. And yeah, he's basically never going to miss a sense. I doubt Darkside has any senses or any 7s in their reserve deck here. And I think in this format, there's a Sith Probe Droid V open card that was made in Legacy, I guess, because it's in set 0. There's a way to get Vader over to the throne room pretty easily. I don't think there's a way to do it now, right? Because you can only do the deplete the life force. Let's see if this works. If they're all at the throne room. Emperor, Vader, Luke. Yeah, you can't do the dueling to do the, automatic win condition or alternative win condition. We got the TIE Interceptor gets a force back. 4-LOM is going to be canceling Ben Kenobi's text unless Darkdeal has like a blaster deflection, but then that would be his one force he'd have to spend that he has saved for first strike, and then he wouldn't have any other tricks to play. Yeah, this isn't, maybe Darkdeal might be going for a little bit of a moral victory, because if the Han lost, there's just no way that he's going to be able to keep up with the damage race here. He's getting cards back with retrieval. Now he's going to get a first strike swing. Admiral Chernu going to the audience chamber, just like the movies. That's funny. So yeah, he might have a decent character package in here. We saw Marajek, Piet, Chernu. Probably has a bunch of commands, Imperial commands. Forlom, Fett, probably a bunch of Vaders. I wonder if he's got Dr. E. Did we see Dr. E? We saw Mara. Saw probably at least one Janus, maybe two Janus. I wonder if he has like a sim. Hello. Alright, so Lando loses game text, which means he loses his gun. Obi-Wan's going to fire his lightsaber at Vader. If he hits, he can possibly free Master Luke at the end of the battle. 4, that's a good start for him. He needs a 3 now. And he does get, there's a grabber. That would be really helpful against those senses. Of course, it cuts both ways, because then your own senses have to get stacked too, but if you grab the sense, maybe you start getting the altars through and bypass that. They got to start paying for, so they're not getting circulated then. Alright, so Vader's going to swing back at Ben Kenobi. And he does have the blaster deflection, so that's going to be his one force. Let's see what happens here, though, because now DRTORCH is, he's definitely going to lose the force for Emperor's power to add a battle destiny, as Lando's now hit forfeit 0. So yeah, so Kevin's going to have to lose Ben to cover the battle damage now. Like, absolutely have to. So this is probably going to be the end of the game here. Emperor's power loses a force. Of course, sometimes really, really late in the game, you can just lose the effect itself. You may lose effect to add battle destiny anywhere. Then, of course, you're not using it anymore. But towards the end of the game, it might be more economical to do that. Or maybe there might be a certain tracking that really lines up that you really want to draw like a super high card that you know is on the top of your reserve deck. Instead, you can just lose the effect. So he's going to draw an 8. Yeah, I mean, this might actually... He's got to lose 14 now, and he's only got 10 left. So yeah, this is... Oh. Never mind. Yeah, no, duh. Ben's going to cover 9. So he's got to stack 1. He's going to have to lose but all those characters plus 1 force still. He's only got 1 card in his hand. Dark's going to have to lose a card here at the end of their turn, but... I mean, just drawing those extra battle destinies and basically winning every single Sense Altar War... pretty favoring of DRTORCH in this. So Master Luke gets freed, so that's, I guess, a plus. And now he can battle back with Luke. He can get the retrieval in because he's now on 2 battlegrounds. If he bounces Fett, the battle's going to end immediately. Because then it's just Forlom there, and he can't stay in a battle. See if DarkDeal, what his 1 card in hand is. Alright, so DRTORCH just runs away. He's not going to allow the first strike swing to go through. Admiral Piet's hanging out on Tatooine now. We gotta do it. We gotta do the giveaways. Alright, so we'll do 2. Let's see, I need to think of a trivia question. Cancel here. Alright, we'll make it on the easy side, I guess. Alright, so name 4. Here we go. Alright, everyone in the chat. I'm gonna type it in the chat too. Alright, so I'm gonna type it as I'm about to hit enter. So 4 Premiere through Death Star 2. Name 4 light side alien characters that draw battle destiny on their own. For the trivia question giveaway. so Taz Ka followed, or goes back to Tatooine. But this doesn't. Looks like DarkDeal's gonna just make the deplete of Light Force. Okay, and I'll accept the second person too, because I'm gonna give one person the the open stuff and one person the retro theme stuff. So you can use the same answer, or just type it in the chat, or you can use something different too. So yeah, so Tiberius will get. We'll give Chris the AI pack. All right, so let's see. Control phase reactor terminal is gonna put some cards back. All right, and then. All right, and then East Scrapper, so you're going to get another DS2 box. I think you might have got one before. Maybe that is Will, right? I'm like 99.9% sure. Okay. All right, cool. All right, thanks. Thanks, guys. We'll give those out. Hopefully you get virtual cards that you're looking for. Or digital cards, I should say. Virtual implying like open cards, but digital like... you know, what's on Gemp. Alright, so Dark battles here with Boba Fett. Really, with Emperor's Power, you just never have to basically be afraid of battling. Because a lot less lightsabers in this format. A lot less permanent weapons that make forfeit 0. So if you got a somewhat decent forfeit and you could draw Battle Destiny, it's going to be hard to get overflowed. Especially with the Imperial Rest Order out, so you never have to worry about Nabran leads kind of ruining your day. Alright, so Boba's going to shoot at Luke. Wouldn't surprise me if DRTORCH kind of tracks something around here. So this will put DRTORCH into it. Either he's going to win the event outright if Kipple loses, or he will, I'm going to dodge here. or he's going to be in the tiebreaker if Kipple wins. And then whoever has the higher strength schedule will get to pick which side they get to play for that one game playoff, which we played next week, hopefully. So I think, he won the 2022 league. He's always finishing very high. The first event, which was premiered to Hoth, was won by John Carr. The second event was won by Brad Kipple, which was premiered to Endor. Alright, so he doesn't lose the Emperor's Power, right? Alright, so he drew 2. Why did he just not want to do it? I wonder... He didn't. Now he's using Emperor's Power. Okay. Is it only once per turn? No, I think it's like any battle, right? So he did lose the effect there. Once per turn. I got it. Okay, so you want to save it for this one. Makes sense. Yeah. Will, our E-Scrapper here, is playing against Brad. So let's see if he can also move in the 5-1 spot. Potentially finish in second in the whole event. Each of these 5 events, we have an uncut sheet for the winner. And we capped it so that if the same person wins 2 events, it'll pass down then. But, so yeah, if Kipple ends up winning it out, whoever finishes in second place will get the uncut sheet, which, look real quick here. Prize support, I got lots of colors here. It's an Endor common uncut sheet. And then we're doing $25 vouchers to the PC store. So, that's what some of the things that the entry fees go towards. We're going to develop some play mats. I think we're doing 8 giveaways to anyone who's been a very diligent participant. So basically, you're playing at least 4 of the events, maybe 5. You never have to be someone that Steve Sanders, the tournament director for the league, has to track down and ask you to play your games or what's your status. Those types of players get entered into a pool on a raffle to win the play mats, which are like, there's a Death Star one. I think we're going to do the Death Star one. So yeah, those are pretty cool. I got to order them soon. The artwork's already. We ordered like a test one, and it came out real good. So yeah, so the prize is pretty cool. They're themed with like digital stuff. We do some sealed decipher packs. Like, I think we got a couple of those going out. Cloud City Booster. one random person. We got some sleeves we're giving away. We got some stickers and sunglasses and stuff like that. Every single player that plays gets a rare card or two. Usually what I do with those is give like people who finish towards the bottom get like two. They're like random. They're not always in the best condition. They're specifically for prize support. Oh, my thing locked. There we go. Good game. Okay. So yeah, you can see the next round. I can't wait for our games. Good luck rest of the way. So yeah, so DrTORCH wins the match. So he moves to 6-0. All right. So what I'll do here is maybe I'll do like so this will end the. I'll just keep it together. No, I'll break it out. All right, so thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm going to be doing another quick stream for another event, another game in this league right after this. I have the replay all ready to go. So I'll stop recording and then record again, change the title, and go from there. Okay, all right, well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and take care. May the force be with you.